All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the week. How are you? I hope everybody's doing great today. Let's see what wants to come in. This week in Pathfinders, I am going to return to our study of intuition. This is going to be a very important last 3 months of the year. So I want to do a little refresher course on intuition. And for those of you in Pathfinders, you have access to all of 2024's lessons. I did a lesson every week in 2024 about your intuition and how to recognize it, how to talk to spirit guides. Those are all in there. Any Pathfinder, regardless, you could join today and you'll have access to all that stuff too. So we're going to do a tune-up this week on intuition. And then we do have astrology this week, and I'll be talking about Mars. Mars is shifting into Scorpio. You can have a lot of energy in Scorpio. And so I want to talk about Mars and how we take action. All right. So that's this week. If you want to learn to read tarot from me, link below. All right. Let's see what's going on. All right. Earth energy. Transmute. Full moon. And the death card. There's Scorpio. So the full moon. So we have a full moon in Aries coming up in the beginning of October. We have October starting this week. And on the 1st of October, we have Juno moving into Sagittarius. Juno is Jupiter's wife. So it is about being a good partner, about having a good partner. And the full moon in Aries is about letting go of any identities that are standing in the way of your happiness. For example, why would you let go of an identity? Well, because it's standing in the way of my happiness, or it's part of an old me that doesn't exist anymore, and I'm shifting and changing. We've been seeing a lot of that. Creaky door. All right, let's see what the reading has to say. I will be posting the October readings. Hopefully I'll get them done by Friday. I'm going to be traveling a little bit into next week. So you'll be seeing that if you want to take a look at the October kind of big overview I did that on Friday. There's a link in the description box, or you can look it up on the channel. All right. What wants to come through for everybody watching today? Whoopsie. 5 underneath. 5 of Wands. Challenges, conflicts. Ace of Pentacles. 2 of Wands. 7 of Swords. Wow. King of Swords. And the Judgment card. So there's some new information coming through that might change your opinion about something. Some of you have been lied to. Some of you have been told or just believed something. There's a lot of conflict about that thing. And you're getting a new opportunity to go in a new direction here. And I feel like you're seeing things differently, you're seeing things more clearly with this King of Swords. I like this energy. And it's possible that this is coming through some kind of spiritual awakening. There's some kind of aha moment coming in this week. King of Cups. 2 of Pentacles. 4 of Swords. For those of you who are water signs, you might be, because we're talking about Mars and Scorpio, especially Scorpio, but Cancer, Pisces too. We got Saturn and Neptune. Neptune's going back into Pisces. So there's something about like revisiting an old mindset or revisiting an old situation. You could feel a lot of deja vu happening in October, or, even just this first week, where I'm like, oh, I have to go back and like relearn something or re-heal something. Possibly about a water sign, or if you're a water sign, having to kind of go back and fix something. Okay. The moon. Yeah. Moon rules Cancer. So that could be Cancerian. 3 of Pentacles. The World. King of Wands. Aries energy. The Page of Cups. Okay. And wow, the 10 of Swords. I've been seeing that card a lot. There's something here about The Ten of Swords to me, I don't really mind this card because you see the sun coming up. It's like there's no, this is as bad as it gets. So whatever's going on right now this week, it's like kind of like the worst it's going to be because there's going to be some revision to a past direction. So it's sort of like, okay, about 2 years ago or 2 months ago or whatever, I chose this path and not that path. I'm going to go back, going to bicycle back to that juncture, and I'm going to choose the other way. All right. So I don't know when, because some decision was made. It could be different timing for each one of you. You're going to make a different choice. You get a do-over. You get a do-over. And I feel like you get a do-over because you're seeing clearly that, oh, this direction might have been a mistake or might not have been a good thing for me. The Ten of Swords, like it's done. I'm not going to do that again. Talk to me more about this Ten of Swords. I feel like some of you made a choice that wasn't I was going to say for your best and highest good, but every choice we make, even if it comes out like a Ten of Swords, it is for our best and highest good. All right. So there was something you had to learn, maybe the hard way. Hierophant, Four of Pentacles, Five of Swords, Ace of Wands. So it could be about power. Manipulation. People who want to keep the status quo are maybe learning that the status quo doesn't exist anymore, or there's, the world is changing, can't go back. But let me make sure I'm saying this correctly. You can't go back to a thing that is about robbing people of their power. You can't go back to that. You can go back to the moment in time when you made that choice and make a better choice. Okay, maybe it's the robbing people of power. That's the thing that people are going to make a different decision on. Like, okay, I don't really want to do that, or I see where this is going and this is not good. All right, I see that it's ending up in a Ten of Swords. There's definitely something about a person who chose power over love is, I don't know, going to rethink it. I feel like they're going to be forced to rethink it or forced to do a do-over. They're going to get pushed back. Okay. Eight of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles, the Ten of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. It's about money. It was about money or resources or value. So it could be a lot of different things. This can be about how I valued myself or didn't. And I made a choice based on the idea that I didn't have a lot of value, and that wasn't the right choice because I have a lot of value. Okay. So there's something like that. Like you didn't see yourself clearly and you made a choice based on faulty information. If this is somebody else in your life or somebody else that you're kind of watching, I feel like some of you are doing other stuff. Like you may not have to go back and make a new decision. Somebody else may have to go back and make a new decision. I feel like a lot of you are kind of aligning with the moon, right? We got the full moon in Aries and this Three of Pentacles. A lot of you are focused on your new identities and aligning with your spiritual mission and purpose. But in the meantime, there's somebody in your life who's got to go back and make a new choice. Because I feel like it was not, well, whatever. It was like, it could be about power manipulation. It could be about, it didn't come out the way they wanted it to, or it's not going to turn out the way they want it to. The Five of Wands is the conflict here. Nine of Wands, Queen of Cups, Six of Pentacles, Four of Wands. This is a giant do-over. All right. This is about And just think about it in your life. Are you the person who's like making new decisions on your identity and making a new path for yourself? Or are you somebody that is like, okay, I've made this choice and I've gone down a road and it's not the road I want, so I'm going to go back and redo that. Some of you are watching other people do that. And some of you may need to help people. I feel like, you guys on my channel are definitely on the spiritual path, and you may be the ones who are paying a lot of attention to identity and mapping your future forward. That's why we're talking about the astrology of 2026. If you want to jump onto that class, or if you want to jump onto the entire astrology about harnessing the timeline, then grab it. There's a link below. This is really about like, okay, those of us who are spiritual teachers, healers, guides, missionaries, shamans, something like that. This full moon in Aries is really going to shine a light on identities that are a lie. Wow, a lie. And those of you who are teachers and see this clearly, King of Swords, see this clearly, see that the path was a lie. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be kind of twisted around by this and are going to be unclear of how to do this or where to go next. So if you're beefing up your own intuitive connection or connection with spirit, part of what you're doing here on this planet, just as a note to you guys on the spiritual path and, stepping into healing, stepping into becoming a leader, Fool, that's starting now. You're not don't wait until next February 20th, until we have Neptune and Saturn launching at 0 degrees of Aries, that new identity. In January, we're going to have a stellium in a lot of planets in Aquarius, and it's going to be like the Aquarian mindset shift is going to be happening in January. This next 3 months is going to be, some people are going to have to do a major backpedal do-over. Some people are going to be like, see, I told you so. But maybe not saying I told you so. Maybe just being more like, okay, how can I help you build the path forward? Okay, because I told you so as a way of shutting things down. And I feel like this is not being shut down. There's a potential of lots of apologies. Okay, there's a potential of somebody coming back to you and saying, I messed up. Can we try again? Or can we have this conversation again? A do-over, a giant do-over here. All right, let's see. 9 of Pentacles, Page of Wands, 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, just stand in your self-confidence here. Knight of Wands, a love partner coming back around. Can I have another chance? I've learned, I've healed, I've backed myself up. I'm making different choices now. Some of you have this 9 of Pentacles energy. Definitely those of you who are watching other people do this, and other people may need help. So it's time for us on the spiritual path to show generosity, show kindness. No, I told you so's. Okay. I don't think that's going to be helpful, really. 5 of Cups. There's a lot of loss. You might be super happy that someone comes back around and says, you know what? I made a mistake. Tower. Very suddenly. Yep, Knight of Cups, there it is, and then the Sun card. So there's a nice energy here. Those of you who are watching this happen and knowing that the Sun is coming up, even though there's been this sense of 10 of Swords, like a very definitive end to a certain path. I just feel like there's something about like this is not going to go off a cliff, even though the 10 of Swords is here. And the Tower is here. I feel like this is not going to go off a cliff. I feel like, here's the cliff and you got like the carabiners and you got all this stuff to handle it. So I feel like the tools are in place for us to handle this changeover, this shift. If this is a person coming back to you that's apologizing for kind of going off the rails at you, or absolutely being, watching the energy kind of unfold and saying, I made a mistake. I really want to come back and talk to you. The door's open. Okay? let's keep going. I want to look at what we don't see coming. Let's go deeper into how this is unfolding. If you want to continue on and this is your reading, link is below. I'll see you over there. All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.